January 31st, 1945. A U.S. Navy submarine chaser, the USS PC-1129, is sailing through the Pacific Ocean along the coasts of the Philippine Islands. A radio transmission from a nearby ship comes in.
Incoming enemy vessels. Open fire.
The crew look out, expecting to see destroyers and battleships in the night. Instead, they spot a fleet of dozens of small boats racing towards them at top speed. These are Shinyo suicide speedboats. They might seem small and harmless, but they're one of the Japanese's craftiest and most desperate weapons in the war. If even one of these hit the PC-1129, it could kill everyone on board. 1943. Things are looking bleak. The momentum of Japan's initial success has worn off completely. The Americans have managed to push them back farther and farther towards the home island. The Japanese are losing battle after battle and can't keep up with the US production levels. Not only that, but Japan's Axis friends in Europe aren't doing so well either. Germany is on the back foot after losing the Battle of Stalingrad, and Mussolini has been taken out of power by the Allies in Italy. The thought of total victory seems more and more outlandish with each passing day. Japanese high command doesn't even want to consider the idea of surrender. Their whole culture prioritizes honor above all else. Soldiers and pilots would rather die than give in to the enemy. Kamikaze attacks are the perfect example of this mentality. Once Japanese fighter pilots run out of ammunition, they fly their planes right into the enemy in a desperate final attempt to do some damage. A simple idea among high command is floated then. Why not have not just the Air Force, but the Navy pull off these crazy last-ditch attacks? A few plans are put forward: human sea mines, suicide divers, and finally, kamikaze speedboats, known as Shinyo. These Shinyo are single-motor speedboats, small and fast, able to hit top speed of 55 kilometers per hour. 2 anti-shop torpedo rockets are fastened to both sides of the boat, with a massive 300-kilogram explosive charge mounted on the bow. Their hulls are made of wood, light and cheap to keep costs low and speed high. Their engines are repurposed Toyota KC 6-cylinder engines. In total, the speedboat is only about 6 meters in length. The driver's mission is straightforward: slip through enemy lines undetected, drive right into the side of a ship, fire their rockets, then detonate their charges once they hit the hull. The torpedoes can do some harm, but in reality, they're mainly there to distract. The real danger to US ships comes from the depth charge, which can only detonate once they've smashed into an enemy vessel. The result would be huge damage done to a massive ship, all at the cost of a few explosives, a small boat, and the life of one brave sailor. It's a desperate tactic, but if pulled off right, the Shinyo could seriously hamper the US offensive. The idea is that even if Japan loses the crew and the materials in the attack, the damage from impact will be so heavy for the Americans that it will deter them from pushing towards mainland Japan. But in 1943, there's still some hope that Japanese resolve will carry the day. The plans for the Shinyo and other kamikaze-like operations are scrapped for now. Fast forward again, this time to 1945. If things looked bad for the Japanese in 1943, they're looking disastrous 2 years later. The Soviets have Berlin surrounded. Italy fell long ago. The Germans are on the verge of surrender, and nearly all of the territories that Japan previously conquered have been retaken. The Americans are pushing deeper and deeper in the Pacific. Peleliu, Saipan, Guam, and most importantly, Iwo Jima have all fallen to the US. The Japanese are throwing everything they can at the Americans to stop their advance. It's in this state of desperation that High Command approves the plans that they rejected back in 1943. The first Shinyo speedboats are produced and fitted, ready for action. 6,000 Shinyo boats are produced in total over the course of the Second World War. In late January, the British and Americans are conducting Operation Mike 6, an amphibious move to secure the city of Nasugbu on the island of Luzon in the Philippines and prepare more attacks on neighboring islands. The USS PC-1129 has been called in to help. The Japanese cannot let the operation succeed. If they lose their foothold in the Philippines, they won't be able to stop the Allies from invading the mainland. More desperate than ever, High Command gives the green light to send a 20-strong fleet of Shinyo boats. The hope is that they can take out enough American ships to stop Operation Mike 6 in its tracks. It's the dead of night. Visibility is low. One of the crew of a U.S. ship checks their radar. What he sees makes his blood run cold. 20 Blips racing towards their position at alarming speed. The USS PC-1129 is one of the nearest targets. The sailor tells the captain, who radios in to warn the fleet. Nobody in the fleet knows what to expect. They're used to kamikaze attacks in the air, but only a few have ever encountered these suicide strikes at sea. The crew of the USS PC-1129 rush to man their guns, point their barrels at the horizon, and get ready to fire. They can barely see anything. Their radios keep flaring up, telling them of the incoming threat.
Fleet warning. They are coming. Man your guns.
The USS PC-1129 is big and slow, 52 meters in length, with a speed of just 37 kilometers per hour, and weighing 450 tons. A proud American beast of the sea, but an easy target. The crew of the USS PC-1129 do have one advantage: their firepower. The USS PC-1129 is equipped with a 76mm dual-purpose gun mount, another 40mm gun mount, 3 20mm guns, 2 rocket launchers, 4 depth charge projectors, and a couple of depth charge tracks. If they land even one shot on a Shinyo speedboat, they'll rip it apart. The crew wait in silence, scanning the dark sea for any sign of movement. The tension is building. Fear and panic start to take hold. Then, a cry rings out from across the starboard aft side of the ship.
Enemy spotted! Open fire!
The gunners let loose. Hundreds of rounds of heavy ammunition fly right at the advancing Shinyo boats. The vast majority do nothing but miss, sending up bouts of seawater into the air. It's almost impossible to hit these speeding targets in the dark. But the USS PC-1129 isn't alone. The other ships in the fleet come to her aid and open fire. Together, they blanket the water with gunfire. One of the Shinyo boats is hit, shredding through the hull and destroying its engine. The pilot tries to push it further, but he's been brought to a standstill. A few dozen rounds rips it to pieces. The Shinyo fire back. A line of torpedoes slice through the water towards the ships. The vast majority miss. Those that do hit do minimal damage, but it's enough to unnerve some of the gunmen who are distracted from the real threat. A huge explosion rings out and lights up the sea. Got one! A few well-placed shots strike the engine of one of the Shinyo boats, igniting the fuel and setting off the explosives. The crew cheer, but they also see just how much damage these boats can do. They can't let one get close. More shots, more Shinyo boats go down. The gunners of the USS PC-1129 take out one more boat. For a moment, it looks like they're in the clear. But one Japanese pilot manages to skillfully swerve between the incoming fire. The pilots are some of the best the Japanese Navy has to offer. He slips between the American defenses and beelines for the USS PC-1129. The crew spot the incoming threat and open fire, but it's too late. The speedboat is too quick. It closes the distance at alarming speed. Impact. A massive explosion rocks the USS PC-1129. 2 of the ship's gunmen are instantly killed in the blast. Nearly everyone on the starboard side is knocked off their feet and hit the deck. The force is so violent that it sends a number of sailors stumbling off the side of the ship and into the sea. Fire and smoke engulf the USS PC-1129. Sailors panic, scrambling to right themselves and rescue their friends. The acting captain, Lieutenant Matthews, organizes his men to focus on getting the men thrown overboard back on the ship.
I need a damage report.
When he comes back, it's not good news. The hull has been torn open, Captain. There's a massive hole. The propellers are done for. We've lost all steering. The aft is taking on water. The crew feel the deck shifting beneath their feet. The USS PC-1129 is sinking. Lieutenant Matthews knows she can't be saved. One small speedboat with a wooden hull and a repurposed engine has managed to take out a powerful U.S. Navy submarine chaser. Only a few minutes before 2200 hours, the captain gives the order to abandon ship. He won't lose his men alongside the USS PC-1129. The other ships take out the remaining speedboats, then focus on getting the sinking ship's crew out of danger. Aboard the other ships assigned to carry out Operation Mike 6, the crew watch as the USS PC-1129 stern slips beneath the surface of the water, lost to the depths forever. The Shinyo speedboats, as well as the other Japanese kamikaze tactics, are terrifying weapons of war. Throughout the following months, the Shinyo managed to damage and even sink 7 other U.S. Navy ships, including destroyers and landing support vessels. The Shinyo are a testament to the Japanese's willingness to sacrifice whatever was needed to take back the advantage, and the lengths they could go to in the pursuit of victory, even while staring defeat in the face.